Hello, my name is Muhammad Adam with Adi Prautomo from Universitas Balikpapan. We are going to deliver our paper presentation entitled To Vote or Not to Vote, the Metaphorical Description of Golput during Indonesian Election 2019. I have been given approval from my colleague Pak Adi Prautomo to present this paper on Literary Studies Conference 2020, Sanata Dharma University. First, the background of the study. Mariska 2019 says that Golput terms is actually originated from protesting youth who disagreed with 1971 general election, and some of them actually went to punch the white space in the ballot instead of on the picture. So this is actually the play words from the word golongan karya, and it comes with the terms golongan putih for symbolizing the punching on the white blank ballot. Whereas January 2009 says that some of the reason behind the Golput is in New Order era is the political reasons in 2004 caused by people's disappointment to political institution. In 2020, Anam and Mantri says that the Golput in 2019 as voices from marginalized groups which was affected by vulnerable agenda and extends to various sectors, environment, human rights, law, and anti-corruption. The aims of this study is actually to investigate the metaphorical description used to describe Golput during Indonesian election 2019 within the critical metaphor analysis proposed by Charteris-Black, which is the combination of critical discourse analysis and conceptual metaphor theory. So the conceptual metaphor theory itself, proposed by Lakoff and Johnson, say that metaphor is analogy, speaking about one concept using the terms from another concept, which is the cross-domain mapping in conceptual system. Also supported by Coffexes, and say that there are two domains in conceptual metaphor. The first is the source domain, which is the concrete concept that is easily understood, and the target domain, which is more abstract. So in terms of the mapping of life is journey, life is the target domain, and journey is the source domain, used to speak about an abstract concept, life. And with the conceptual metaphor, it comes some metaphorical expressions such as my life is on the crossroad, or there is no turn back. According to Charteris-Black, critical metaphor analysis is identifying the intentions and ideologies underlying a language use. There are three steps. The first one, metaphor identification. The second one is metaphor interpretation. And the third one is an explanation of conceptual metaphors to reveal the ideology. In this study, the source of the data from foreign media reports on Indonesian election 2019, all in English and published or written by foreign journalists. And we are focusing on the issue of the election, abstention, or non-voting phenomena. From the finding, there are three aspects that are highlighted during the news on the non-voters of the Golput itself. The first one is the rate of the Golput. Second is the reason for being Golput, and the third one is the effect to election and democracy. The example from the data of the rate of the Golput, the using metaphorical expression is like escalated and jumping onto the Golput bandwagon. So using the words escalated in terms of talking about the increasing number, conceptually asking us to think about something going vertical, and jump onto the Golput bandwagon is making us thinking that there has been a group on this stance supporting this phenomena, and the other join the bandwagon. Whereas the aspect of the effect to election and democracy speak louder than ballot. So this is one of the example of how a metaphorical expression is used to speak about the effect to election and the effect to democracy, or the expectation from the non-voters group speaking louder than ballot. In terms of this, ballot is actually something which is cannot speak, but abstention in terms of the non-voting is expressed as something that expectedly can speak louder than the ballot. Whereas to use democracy to balance individual empowerment in this particular expressions, use democracy to balance individual empowerment, it seems that there is imbalance between individual empowerment in terms of democracy. So these are very metaphorical in the use. And the next one is the reason why choosing being non-voters. Some of the example is some of them wrestling with disappointment, giving us a conceptual way of thinking that this is something which is very hard to struggle with. A physical, giving us thinking about physical struggling on fighting the disappointment. The other example of the reason is growing disconnect between politicians and voters. So this is actually expressed that politician and voters are something that should be in one connection, but it is expressed as a growing disconnect. Growing also making us thinking that something start from small at the beginning, but then going more and more over the period of time. So the conclusion that we can share that the use of metaphorical expressions on the particular topic of Golput phenomenon has shown that metaphor is beyond a linguistic aspect, but it also captures the political and social context and cognitive aspect. And some of the use of the metaphor asking us to think more on conceptual and cognitive way to get a vivid description of how the media describe the Golput phenomena. This paper is actually a part of research funded by 2020 research grant, PDP, Directorate General of Strengthening for Research and Development, Directorate of Research and Community Services, Indonesian Ministry of Research and Technology, National Agency for Research and Innovation. So we would like to thank Sanata Dharma for still conducting literary studies conference, even that the conditions still during the pandemic that still giving us opportunity to be able to stay productive. So thank you very much for